Well, here it is, another day of Route 66. As you can see, yeah, Route 66. We're going through the Bible, 66 books of the Bible. We're reading through Jeremiah. We have 4 chapters that we're going to read today. Some of the prophecies that Jeremiah made. We're kind of in the chronology. He's already made about the prophecy of the destruction, and they are going to be destroyed. But he's also going to be giving some prophecies of the judgment of other nations around them, as well as the eventual restoration of the people of God. And so that's kind of neat. So as you read through here, I hope it's good for you. 4 chapters that we're going to read today, day number 236. So here we go. Chapter 45. Jeremiah has a scribe. In other words, he has somebody that's writing down his prophecies. The prophets were either speaking prophets or writing prophets or both. Elijah and Elisha, you remember them? They were speaking prophets. We don't really have much written about what they said. Jeremiah and Isaiah, they are both. They are not only speaking prophets where they speak and say something, but they also write down some of these prophecies. And his scribe was a guy by the name of Baruch. Well, Baruch ended up going through some terrible sufferings, and he was crying over the suffering that he was going through, but God promised that he would spare his life, that he would live. And that was good. Sometimes when we go through suffering, God, sometimes it takes us down. Sometimes God spares our life, and that's good. So it must have been a pretty severe suffering that he was going through. Chapter 46, it's a prophecy against Egypt, that Babylon is going to defeat Egypt, but eventually there's going to be a restoration. Babylon, God had prophesied, it's going to be a strong nation. It's going to be a strong empire, and they're going to destroy a lot of people, but Egypt comes back, and it does. Notice, Egypt comes back, and to be honest, we still have an Egypt, but we don't have a Babylon. The modern day Iraq is the former Babylon, but there is no Babylonian empire, not even a Babylonian nation. But there is Egypt, just like God promised. A judgment on Philistia, where we get the Philistines. God announces the destruction on the Philistines and their destruction that happened to them, and it eventually did happen. And then in chapter 48, a judgment on a nation called Moab. Moab's pride led them to ruin. The pride against God's people, against other nations, and God still pronounces mercy on them and promises that he would be merciful to them. So just some lessons from the reading of these 4 chapters that you've got today. One lesson, God sees the struggles that we're going on, and he cares about what's happening to us, the suffering. Not only the physical suffering, although the physical suffering, he sees that, he notices. Not everybody does. In fact, most people don't recognize the physical or emotional or even spiritual struggles that we go through, the depression that people face, the mental anguish that we feel, the hurts and the pains of life, but God does, and that's good. A second thought to think about with this one, no nation is beyond God's judgment. God is Lord of all the earth, not just Israel, Judah, Babylon, but also Egypt, England, United States. No nation will get beyond his judgment if they persist in unrighteousness, immorality, and injustice. God will judge. So a third lesson, pride leads to downfall. God gives mercy, and that's a good thing. Even in judgment, God is merciful. But if you're proud, you're going to fall. You think about this even physically. When you stick your nose up, you can't see what you're walking over, and you're liable to trip and fall. And when you stick your noses up at people, when your ego, your pride, your selfishness, your over self-consciousness about me, be careful. That's when you're in danger of falling the most. Humility, God will raise you up.